Hey there, my name is Carrie Tinsley, and I'm an advisor in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics for biology and environmental science majors. I'm coming to you today to talk a little bit about lower division core before we meet with each other on Zoom. So you can kind of get an idea of when I tell you to take a lower division core class that you know what I mean. My job is to help coach you through this. So we're going to talk more about this in our meeting, but I just want to kind of give you a heads up on the front end. So I'm going to share my screen with you and kind of go through this piece by piece, and it should be great. So here we go. It's very colorful. So this is our lower division core check sheet. The idea is that you guys as students take one class out of each of these checklists over the course of your first about 2.5 years of being a student here at UCA. So there are a couple of instances where I'll tell you that you might want to take more than one class in a category, but the main idea is that you take one class out of each category. So I'm going to go on. I hope you can see my cursor here, but I'm going to begin with this critical inquiry category, and we're just going to go through each category individually. In quantitative category, which is the math classes, every science student needs to begin with college algebra, or if you have a math ACT score of 26 or higher, usually, and you've taken a couple of math classes that count in high school, then you can kind of clip out of college algebra. But everybody needs to at least take college algebra or its equivalent. Later on, biology and environmental science students will also take a calculus class. So if you bring a calculus class with you from high school, that will count as your one class if you did that through AP credit or whatever. Otherwise, I would recommend that if you're one of my students for biology or environmental science, that you take this Math 1491 Calculus for Life Science. Moving down into physical science, I would like for you to take a look. There's a geography class here. There's some chemistry and physics classes here. If you're a student who's enrolled in transitional classes, I would like for you to start on chemistry with chemistry 1301 before you move into the class that begins your major. My biology students, you guys are going to start with chemistry, Chem 1. Eventually, you're going to take this college physics 1 as well, this physics 1410 class, but that's a little later on, like junior year or so. And then if you're an environmental science student, you're also going to be required to take geography 1400, this earth system science class. For biology, you don't have to take the geography class. Moving down into these life science classes, the class that begins your major, whether you are a biology major or environmental science, is this biology 1440, principles of biology 1. If you've been enrolled in transitional classes, or if you would like to just start with an earlier biology class before you get into that much harder class for your major, I recommend that you look at biology 1400 or 01 or 02 to kind of get your feet wet before you move into this biology class that's for your major. Moving down, you are required to take an American history and government class. If you are one of my environmental science students, I would recommend that you take this political science 1330 class. It's a prerequisite for classes that you would need later on. Otherwise, for biology, you can take any of these 3 classes and it doesn't matter. Moving down through effective communication, you're required to take 2 writing classes, so writing 1310 and also writing 1320 or English 1320. Either one of those would be fine. You're also required to take an oral comm class. So my recommendation for that is that you take this comm 1300 class. And these other 2 classes are in the College of Business, and they're not really geared towards, and sometimes they might have content that would not be geared towards you as a science student. So the safe bet here is comm 1300. Moving down into the diversity classes, I do want to draw your attention to these little codes that appear after each of these classes. So if you see, check at the bottom, these are what's called your breadth requirements. UCA requires you to take a fine arts, a humanities, 2 social sciences, and a first-year seminar class. So part of my job is to help navigate you through here and not have you taking extra classes. So if you check my notes here in the side of this diversity and creative works category, you'll see take a fine arts or humanities here and alternate up here with the fine arts humanities category that's up here on the other side. I'll show you. So if you take a fine arts down here, then I would want you to take a humanities class in the other category, or vice versa. There are exceptions to that rule, but that's kind of typically how I coach students through that. So if you decided to take, for example, this Music 2300 class, you would also count it down here as a fine arts category. So you could also count it as your fine arts class down here in the breadth requirements. So I'm going to delete these so you don't have that on your thing when I email this to you. Okay, up at the top, moving forward, I have the social science category. So all of the classes in this category are social science. So you're going to at least get one of your social science category classes out of here. If you are an environmental science student, this geography class makes a lot of sense, or this political science class if you decide you want to take American history over there. If you are a student who wants to be a doctor or some sort of medical profession, veterinary science, whatever, you should take a look at this psychology class, the Psychology 1300, or even the sociology class, Sociology 1300. Those are prerequisites for med school if you're going to be applying to UAMS, and I'm sure you probably will if you're a UCA student. So those are the recommended social science classes for UAMS. So if ever you have an open semester after you've taken one of these or the other, I would recommend that you take the other one just to kind of get those under your belt. Moving down for fine arts and humanities, you should be able to see that this is one of those categories where you take a fine arts or a humanities class, and we're alternating those with the diversity and creative works category. So up here, take a fine arts or humanities and alternate with the other category down there on the bottom left. In this diversity and world cultures category, these blue classes that I've highlighted are great for environmental science, not specifically required, but recommended if one of those floats your boat. There's some anthropology and geography. If you're a biology student, I would recommend that you take a social science class out of this category. Or if you need a second social science, you can get it down here in responsible living. But here's that. And then moving down here to responsible living, I've given you a couple of classes that are great classes to take if you haven't already taken this ACAD 1300 class. So the exercise science 1320 or the health ed 1320, either one of those are a great balance for the social science or for the super tough science classes that you might be taking simultaneously. So this is a good way to help you build up your lower division core, but also take a class that you should be able to handle. Some of these are counting as a first year seminar, so that's a great class that would just help you double dip. ACAD 1300 is always a first year seminar, so if you're enrolled in that class right now, you've taken care of this requirement down here at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right now. I hope that you know that I'm here to help you. I'm going to create one of these videos about biology as well and the biology check sheet, but I hope that you are enjoying your classes so far, and I hope to see you soon via Zoom so we can talk about the classes that you specifically need. If you have any questions, please email me at ctinsley2, That's CTINSLEY and the number 2 at uca.edu. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.